This is a civilization restoration file from the year 3026. PepsiCo was forced to print PWS, public water source, on Aquafina bottles. That's the legal code for tap water. 21st century humans paid 300 times the price for what comes out of any faucet. We found billions of transparent containers in 21st century strata around the world. They were made of polyethylene terephthalate, PET plastic. This material takes 450 to 1,000 years to fully decompose. The civilization had vanished. The bottles remained. We opened one intact sealed container and analyzed the contents. The result was water, H2O, the most widely distributed liquid on Earth. Also the substance flowing freely through 21st century municipal pipe systems at essentially zero cost. We then analyzed price data. Tap water cost approximately $0.001 per liter. Average bottled water retail price, 30 cents to $2 per liter. Markup, 300 to 2,000 times. For the same substance. But perhaps the markup was justified. Perhaps bottled water truly was pure? We found a critical data point. In the United States, tap water was regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. Bottled water was regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. The EPA required more frequent testing under stricter standards, meaning U.S. tap water was actually more rigorously regulated than bottled water. Then we found a critical clue. Aquafina, owned by PepsiCo, and Dasani, owned by Coca-Cola, the two largest bottled water brands. Their water source was not mountain springs, not glaciers, not natural sources. They were purified municipal tap water, the same water from the tap, processed and bottled. In 2007, consumer groups pressured PepsiCo. PepsiCo was forced to add the words public water source to Aquafina's label. Previously, consumers didn't know they were buying purified tap water. This wasn't a small detail. It was the core truth of the product. How large was this market? In the 2020s, the global bottled water market was approximately $350 billion per year. On this planet, approximately 1 million plastic bottles were purchased every minute. 1 minute, 1 million bottles. We investigated the supply chain and found more contradictions. Nestlé, one of the largest bottled water companies in the world at the time, held a water extraction permit in California's San Bernardino National Forest. Annual fee, $524. California was experiencing severe drought at the time. Residents were asked to reduce water use, limit lawn irrigation, shorten showers. Nestlé continued extracting. Another case, Fiji Water. This brand sourced its product from Fiji in the South Pacific and shipped it across the entire Pacific Ocean to sell in North America and Europe. Its marketing centered on a remote, pristine water source. Meanwhile, records showed portions of Fiji's rural population still lacked reliable clean water access. We returned to the plastic question. Where did the bottles go? According to a 2017 study in Science Advances, of all the plastic ever produced in human history, only approximately 9% had been recycled. 91% went to landfills, incinerators, or directly into the natural environment, soil, rivers, oceans. This plastic remained on Earth at a decomposition rate of 450 to 1,000 years. 21st century humans produced these containers, used them for a few minutes, then left them to the Earth for the next 1,000 years. That is why we can still find them today. But the story had one final irony. In 2018, a study by Orb Media and SUNY Fredonia tested bottled water from multiple global brands. Result: 93% of tested bottled water samples contained microplastic particles. They purchased bottled water to drink pure water. They drank plastic. What was the logic of this industry? Manufacture fear about purity, then sell tap water in plastic bottles, or water extracted from drought-stricken regions, or water shipped from across the Pacific. Produce billions of containers that take 1,000 years to disappear. Then worry about plastic pollution. The industry sold the problem as the solution. Looking back from 3026, this was a complete closed loop. Companies extracted water from public sources or ecosystems at near zero cost, sold it at 300 to 2,000 times the markup in the name of purity, left behind permanent plastic waste when done, managed public guilt with language about recyclability, then repeated the cycle. $350 billion global market per year, 1 million bottles per minute, 9% recycled, 93% of bottled water containing microplastics, 450 to 1,000 years to decompose, and a $524 annual permit allowing a multinational corporation to extract from public forest land during a drought. We cannot determine whether 21st century humans were aware of all these figures coexisting simultaneously. Perhaps some knew but felt powerless to change anything. Perhaps the information was buried under marketing language and hard to parse. Perhaps they had simply grown accustomed. 1,000 years later, what we can see is this: the bottles remain. They outlasted every government, corporation, and most buildings of that era. Their average usage time in the 21st century, approximately 11 minutes. If you are living in that era right now, the next time you drink water, perhaps pause for a moment. What exactly are you paying for? Where that bottle will sit for 1,000 years? And what, exactly, is flowing out of your tap?